Cool. Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
And we're rolling. All right. So welcome back to another episode of Hanging Out Forever. This is our 5th episode now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. This is our 5th episode now.
Look at us. We're doing it.
Look at us doing it. And yes, I want to encourage everybody before you watch this episode to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get those numbers up on YouTube. We got the numbers now on Instagram.
Yeah.
But we want to boost that YouTube. So go ahead and before you watch this, hit subscribe.
Love that.
Hit that subscribe button. Let's get it. Smash it.
Let's get it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. That's so nice of you to ask.
Mm-hmm. You doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just had like a lot of anxiety around my short film and then also us being actual podcasters.
I know.
Now.
It's getting real. It's getting real.
It's kind of, I wouldn't say scary, but it is intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like all the things that we've wanted for our lives are starting to make sense. You know, I think that there was originally this pressure, and honestly, a pressure that I would put on you in our relationship because I wasn't 100% sure if I had my own personal chops. Like, do I have the chops to make it? You know, and if I don't have the chops to make it, who I'm with better have the chops to make it because I can't live regular life.
Well, I think I can sense like this sense of relief within you because of this new success that we're getting from this. And I can definitely tell that you are more excited about the future. And like you said, it feels like things are aligning right now.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been working so hard. Although we haven't been working on the podcast for that long, we really have been doing lots of things in this vein that have brought us to where we are now. Mm-hmm. We've been filmers for years now. We are able to film our own content, do everything our own, run our own audio. We can do everything ourselves because we've been doing it for years now.
That's why I'm always looking over in episodes is because I'm monitoring the audio
she's
levels.
Yeah, monitoring that.
Like,
there's no producer here. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, you know? It's just us.
We run everything ourselves. So I think everything has kind of led up to where we are now. And we also have that creativity because we're filmers, and I feel that's just going to be a consistent flow of creativity that we can put into new ideas for content.
Yeah, and we got some ideas, y'all. So like Grant said in the beginning,
we got some cool ideas coming. So
go ahead and
ready.
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe and get ready for some new because we're doing the street interviews right now. Yeah. We have the podcast right now, but we have some really cool segments that we're cooking up. So get ready for that. Mm-hmm.
They're so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like my compass has been calibrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in Stranger Things where they're like, oh, this magnetic field is messing up the compass.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
that
like
was what
my
you were
anxiety
feeling.
was that
Definitely.
other magnetic field screwing with my own personal compass or messing with my own personal compass. And so now that I feel like we have, I don't know, some sort of path.
Clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have clarity in a way that I don't feel like I've ever had clarity before in my life. And I am the type of person where I've battled a lot with sad stuff and, anxiety and depression and things like that since I was a kid, basically. And so it's nice to feel like the sun on my face.
Yeah.
I don't want to say for once, but like I've felt the sun on my face many times, but it's never felt so warm and it's never felt so bright. And
feels very gratifying.
It feels really gratifying
to be able to do something, put something out there in the world and it be received by so many people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we've been like chasing this entire time with all of our other projects and all the other things that we work on. It's always we're chasing that. We want an audience for it.
Do you feel like we're chasing that? Because I feel like what we were doing before this was more so for ourselves.
It is for ourselves in a sense of the creative drive for it, but we also,
like the longevity of it.
Yeah, you want people to see your stuff so you can grow. And it's very important.
Well, I got 80,000 views on Blazers. So.
I mean, you've had success in your own with your own projects, but this is like a whole new type of success, I feel. And it feels like it's in a very short period, but I said before, I personally feel the years of us gaining this knowledge of film, knowledge of content, things like that, I think everything has kind of led up to this point.
I think that also, when you talk about everything leading up to this point and what we were doing before, I think one of the reasons it feels so gratifying is that because we are putting ourselves out there for the first time.
Yeah.
Where it's not our work. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not my documentary work. It's not your music video work. It's us.
Yeah.
And the things that we have decided to create as people, as individuals, and putting our image out there and putting our thoughts out there, and then getting other people to share their thoughts with us, like with the street interviews. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is really what makes it feel the most rewarding, because I grew up really not liking myself that much.
Yeah.
Never thinking that I was important, or that I would live past 30, or that anybody would ever love me, or I would ever be in love, you know? Mm-hmm. So I battled against I don't know. I don't want to say a lot of self-doubt, but,
I think I had
self-deprecation.
I had like this same kind of recklessness to me when I was growing up. And I feel the same way. It was this reckless, I don't care, I'm going to do what I want. I'm not going to live past 30 anyways type of vibe.
I think a lot more people feel that way than we would expect.
Especially when you're young and you're in high school or something. You're not really thinking of the future. You're so in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it feel like for you? You know, this whole thing and putting yourself out there, because y'all, Grant was dragging his feet when it came to the podcast.
I was nervous. I was scared. I was nervous to put myself out there. I just have never been the face of something.
Yeah.
Even with my production company, I shaped it around just the main focus is the company and the product behind it. Mm-hmm. But never have I been the face of it. So it's very new to me. And I feel I'm not typically the best communicator. So with a podcast, it's literally just me communicating. So I was nervous about that as well. But I think people are getting it. I think people like what I have to say, I guess.
And you're handsome.
You said it. But but no, I mean, it's nice to know that the information that we're putting out there is being received well for the most part, and people are hearing what we're saying and can relate to it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it really warms my heart when we get a DM on the Hanging Out Forever page, or when I get a DM on my personal page and somebody says, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one that felt this way. I have so much anxiety about my relationship. It's not that I don't love him. I just am not sure about my own self and the things I've seen with my parents and all these other poor examples of love. And how did you navigate through it? Or like, hey, thanks for putting that out. I feel so seen. That is what?
I know. And we've been getting a lot of feedback. It feels like we're building a community.
We love y'all. Like, for real.
Seriously. Yeah.
Because it took a lot for us to put our relationship out there in a way where it's like we're casting a net and just saying, we got problems. Somebody else out there got to have the same problems.
That too, because I feel a lot of people in relationships, they have podcasts, but it's not typically a relationship focused podcast where they talk about their relationships. It's usually something completely different, a completely different genre, and they don't really talk about their relationship. They talk about the topics or whatever it may be on the show.
Yeah.
But we are very relationship focused, and we put our relationship out there, and it's really just us communicating and talking about what we're going through, and people seem to enjoy it because they can see themselves within it, or they have something to say about it, you know?
Right.
Because a lot of people, I think a relationship is a very vibrant thing in lots of different ways. It's it's polarizing in the way of people who are in relationships can relate so heavily to it, and then people who are single will have their own single mindset opinions on it. So it's either the complete opposite of that, or it's, oh man, like that makes sense. Maybe I should write that down in my book and save that for later, because I want a relationship. And then there's the people who don't care to have relationships and they're single, and they're kind of like, he's a simp, and you're crazy, whatever.
For the streets. Don't forget.
For the streets.
I finally got the For the Streets badge,
streets.
and I'm not letting it go.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a fun journey, and we appreciate everybody who's watching.
Literally, we appreciate y'all so much. One of the things that was I got to stop saying one of the things. Something about this process and creating a podcast that was really important for us was removing the veil of our problems, or removing the veil of we're so happy. And we are, right? We are very happy, but people will say, Asia, you and Grant are the power couple. Asia, oh my God, we're so obsessed with you and Grant, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people tell you so many positive things about your relationship, but internally there's issues that they don't see, it makes you feel like you're going crazy.
It does. It messes with you. That's so true, and I feel once that, that veil was kind of taken down from us, and a lot of the people around us who were seeing our relationship from kind of the outside, not the inside, now they're seeing it on the inside, and they're like, what is happening? Wait, their minds were blown, because they wouldn't think that we have those types of arguments or conversations. It was, I think, polarizing to them.
Yeah.
I think, but I think that polarizing is good.
I think so too. And I love that we hope that we are able to demystify the idea of the happy couple, because with our friend group, oh my God, we didn't know you guys were going through these things. Bro, are you really okay that she is that way, bro? Or like, are you a simp, my guy? Or Asia, you've been having to ask Grant for X, Y, and Z. Yes, y'all, relationships are hard as shit.
Yeah,
we just
I think
play
that's
it off
what
like
people
it's
don't
easy,
understand. And and most people who think their relationship is easy and easygoing, it's typically, I feel, not going to last, because you need to have the tough conversations to get further in your relationship. You need that. You really do. You can't just have everything be surface level. You need to go under the surface and really communicate.
Yeah. And I think that with us, it's important that, okay, what I'm going to say is, when I was at my most depressed, when I was at the saddest I ever was, I always wished there was one person I could call that didn't make me feel like I was crazy. I always wished I could be like, girl, I'm having a rough ass day today, or my dog, I'm having a rough ass day today. And they would say, I totally get it, was there yesterday.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling again like
alone.
You tell somebody, oh, I feel depressed. Why? You're beautiful and you're funny and you're talented and you're creative. Yeah. And that's all well and good, but I'm depressed, And when I was at my worst, or at my darkest or my lowest, whatever, I really wished that I had somebody that really understood it and that didn't feel like they were just listening, that were hearing me. Yeah. Most of the time when I was feeling sad like that, even when I was talking to you or my mom, it just felt like you guys were listening. It never felt like I was truly being heard.
Yeah.
And the only person I could talk to about certain stuff like that is my dad, because we have very similar personalities. And so when he was younger, he went through a lot of the same things that I went through.
Yeah.
And so that is why our podcast is so important to me, because everybody shows you their highlight reel. I show people my highlight reel. So to have this platform with you and to be able to show people you can be a 7-year relationship, not married, not tripping about not being married, and happy and finding things new to do and refreshing your relationship. But don't get it twisted. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it has been sometimes an uphill battle. Sometimes it's been a coast. But everybody just shows you the highlight reel. And so by knowing that there are people out there seeing us, at our lowlights, I guess.
Yeah.
And are saying how relatable that is to them. That means a lot to me because it means a lot to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's with us, there's a majority of highlights. There's way more highs than there is lows in our relationship. But the thing that I think a lot of people are seeing, because when we come and we turn on the cameras and we sit here and talk, we're mainly talking about the lowlights. You know, we're mainly focusing on that because I think that we want to show, you know, people that this happens in a relationship, and you can have these conversations and talk it out. So I guess we do kind of focus more on like the low points of our relationship when we're sitting down doing the podcast and talking. But I don't want people to think that that's like our entire relationship, because it's maybe 20% of it.
Yeah.
We focus on it when we're talking in this way because we want to show people that it's normal to have that low light and to be able to communicate through it and pinpoint it.
I think it's also bigger than just wanting to show people that it exists too, right?
Yeah.
So yes, of course we want to show people that it exists.
It's for us too.
But it is for us too, because when we started the podcast, we were at one of our lowest points in our relationship.
Definitely.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to go through this process and watch as we evolve and watch how I have been really enjoying watching how you evolve in the way of which you communicate during the podcast. Sorry. Grant just pointed at our cat and she is so cute. She has her head on the armrest. Oh, she's looking at me. Yeah. And she got her paw off to the side. Like she's like, I don't even know how to explain it. If you're not watching this on YouTube, then you missed out on all this cute cat stuff.
Sorry, babe. What were you saying?
I don't know. I'm distracted by the love of my life, and that's not you. I'm sorry. It's the cat.
So cute. Yeah, it was so cute.
Kitty, you have usurped your father as the love of my life. How do you feel about that? Give me a slow blink for absolutely makes sense. Yep, she did it. I think that our relationship right now during this podcasting process, yeah, you're right. It has been a lot of us showcasing the lowlights. I think that is something people can relate to the most, but it's not, we're not fishing or we're not clickbaiting. Rather, it's not, let's talk about all this sad stuff so we can get a bunch of people to relate.
The first few episodes were pretty deep because like you said, we started the podcast in a time where we were trying to work things out. So it was a lot to just kind of dive into in the beginning, you know? I think now things are a lot more lighthearted and you can tell that we're in a really good place, but we're able to still have those conversations just to kind of check in with one another, make sure everything's all good. You know, you want to grease the tires and, you know, tighten the bolts, all that.
Nice.
So,
okay.
So you want to make sure that, because that's the thing too. I feel like even if you're in a really good place with your partner at the time, I think that you should still have maybe those harder conversations, or you should still push towards having the communication of being like, okay, how can we continue this? How are you feeling? How am I feeling? Let's really dive into that so we can stay at this level.
Yeah. And speaking of that, how are you feeling? You asked me, I didn't ask you.
I feel really great right now. I've kind of taken a little hiatus with with my production company because we're really focusing on this now. We have this new success with the podcast, and I think we're both kind of diving in head first to it, and we are investing a lot of time into it. We're building up a lot of content, and I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to see where this goes because it's this newfound success, and it just seems like if we keep watering, it will grow. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I feel good about that. I want to make sure that I still am fulfilling that passion that I have though for film and for my production company. And what I'm doing now is focusing on this so I can, we can continue to build this brand, and I will have that financial freedom and that freedom to basically go do what I want creatively.
Yeah.
And I think I feel good about it too, because I've already expressed myself so much creatively, and I've already built up my company. I've already expressed myself creatively, and I've already built up my company, and I'm not in a position where I haven't started anything yet. You know, I'm already there to the point where I've already built something up, and now I can kind of take a hiatus and kind of take a step back, and I have no regrets because I've already pushed it to the full limit, you know. Obviously it can grow still, but I've given it 100%, and I really put a lot into it already. So I feel good with being able to maybe take a step back for a little and do this and grow this, and then I can step right back in because I've already built something.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you. And, you know, as much as I love podcasting, I, of course, still want you to do you with Till Death and support that. But I totally hear you allowing this to lead the path of doing whatever you want. And I feel the same way. You know, it's kind of messed up that these days you almost have to have clout for people to give you an opportunity. It's not like it was in the 90s where it's just you go and you pitch yourself to a guy. And I mean, I'm sure in the 90s there was also leveraging of clout and stuff, but there was an Instagram where it was, how many followers do you have?
Well, there are like accountants out there now who are content creators. Everybody is a content creator now. And you kind of, if you want like major success in whatever field you do, you kind of have to be a content creator as well. Even if you're an artist or a filmmaker or whatever you are, if you're a content creator on top of that, it's just going to boost it even more.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. I think that this also gives us a level of, I don't know, credibility of these guys are really on top of it. Look at them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm a director.
We got stuff going on.
I'm a director, and I've written some things. I want to be a writer director. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I think that this will give us a lot of freedom. And my only concern with the podcast is not really longevity or sustainability. I mean, it kind of is, right? But our street interviews, those make me a little nervous now, because our street interviews make me nervous because I think that we do such a great job of them. Yeah. But people are pirating and stealing our content online and using information that was given to us by people who trusted our vibe and trusted our energy. That's a little,
it feels, I know that I feel like there's like a fine line with the street interviews of like being genuine with it and then being kind of a weasel about it, you know, because you see there's lots of people who go out there and will just
ask leading questions,
sit outside of bars and stuff, waiting for super drunk people who probably shouldn't be answering questions, and ask them very leading.
Yeah, what's your body count? What's your body count? What's your body
ask
count?
them like super just disrespectful questions and stuff, and you know they're leading them into making a fool of themselves, and then they're just going to go post it on the internet, and it's going to blow up. That stuff always blows up, you know. So it is a fine line. And, you know, we want to be brand friendly as well. So we want to obviously like watch what we post. But we also want to respect the people who are answering these questions for us, you know, and giving us these stories and giving us this content, really.
Because the fact that our major post at right now, I think it's at 17.5 million, which we never thought it was going to do.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to the girl, the goat,
content
the
goat.
Legend herself.
Yeah, she's the goat.
She's the goat. Right.
We love her.
We love her.
We love
girl,
her.
If you're watching this,
we love
hearts.
You. We love you.
We love you.
Yeah, so.
And so that was just a huge springboard for our platform. And ever since then, it's been growing. But since people have been stealing our content, it has absolutely slowed. Our progress has slowed, not necessarily our numbers, but our follower count. And the fact that people will say, oh my God, this is your video. I see this everywhere on the internet. Prove it's you. Prove it's me. Yeah. Why would I say it was mine if it wasn't me?
I got the metadata.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, it's very worrisome that people are taking our content and twisting it in a way where they might just say thoughts, right? What are your thoughts? Comment your thoughts. But their audience is so
like
different.
A completely different audience than we would ever want to be seeing our content.
Yeah. And it feels almost like we're putting people that we don't know them like that, but I care about them.
Yeah, especially if they're driving all these people to our page. I appreciate them and respect them and want them to know that, you know. Yeah, so it's tough. It is tough, but at the end of the day, I also feel once you put something on the internet, it's hard. It's very hard to control. You just can't control the internet.
Just know that if we've done street interviews with you, we really very much care about our integrity,
your image, our image. Yeah, we really care about all of that stuff.
We care.
Mm-hmm. And that's why people share with us, because they can sense that. They sense this genuine. You're so great with communicating with people, so nice obviously, but you have such a genuine vibe to you, and just like you have this genuine conversation with these people. So that's why they open up to you in the ways they do. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to continue to do it.
And we want to protect it as much as possible. It really is nice, the same way our podcast and our conversations is helping people. It's nice to hear people in the comments or see people in the comments say things like, oh, wow, I thought I was the only person. My man doesn't take me on dates either. I feel so validated by this, and feel like they're being seen and feel like they're being heard in that way. So
yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see that. And you know, speaking of being heard, we recently opened up a submission form through our Instagrams, through our Linktree, and we've been having listeners and followers send in stories. They've been asking questions for advice, although we're not therapists. I feel like I need to state that, but
good call.
Yes, but you know, they'll send in people who need advice, and we'll give, you know, our opinion on the matter, whatever it may be. But we've gotten some pretty good stuff so far.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing to see that there are people interacting in that way, who are really going out of their way to send in these stories or ask us for advice, whatever it may be. It's great to see people interacting in that way.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's nice to feel trusted by you. It feels amazing that you want to engage with us in this way. So every episode now we'll be reading a listener letter. I don't want to call it a listener letter. Everybody calls it that. What should we call it? We could either call it, because it's hanging out forever, I always like to do a play on words. We could either call it the hideaway, because it's like, let's go over here, because it's hanging out forever, right? And so like when you want to go tell somebody something, you go to like a hideaway.
Yeah.
But or we can call it the family room.
I don't know about the family room.
Chat GBT.
Yeah, Chat GBT. What should we call our segment?
What should we call this? It has to have a name.
Maybe like hanging out with listeners, or hanging out with.
I don't like that.
Listener hangout.
We should have decided this before we got on this podcast.
We probably should.
I've been thinking about it for days. It just hasn't come to me. I thought it would come to me now.
We'll think of it. But for now, we have a submission here, and we're going to go into a segment where we're going to read their submission and basically react to it, or whatever it may be, if they want advice from us. I'm not too sure what it says. So yeah, well, I guess go ahead. We'll just dive on in.
Let's dive on in. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. So, because I run the submission forms, I've pretty much read all of them. I've cued Grant in on a few things, but he doesn't know all the details. So
yes,
we'll see what Grant's reaction is. One of the things on our thing, I always say one of the things, whatever.
One of the things.
On our submission form, we ask people if they want to remain anonymous, because privacy is very important.
Yeah.
So our first person, would you like to remain anonymous? No.
Gotcha.
And then he gave a name. His name is Marlo.
Marlo. Okay.
Marlo. Hi, Marlo.
All right. What's up, Marlo? Hope you're listening.
All right. And his category is ask us a question.
Okay.
So when I was reading it, it didn't really feel like a question, but that was his category. So Marlo says, I just found out the girl I've been engaged with for the past 3 years cheated in our first year of being together.
Ooh.
One time I could understand, but she did it twice. And once was with my brother.
Gee. Okay. Continue. Mm-hmm.
She says, and I quote, "I only told you because you didn't ask." Which I want to come back to that because that's a little confusing for me.
Okay.
Which is only worse. I cheated in our relationship too. Marlo cheated as well.
Marlo cheated. Got it.
I cheated in our relationship too. So Marlo cheated.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's affecting her like it's affecting me because back then we didn't have a family together. But our son and in-laws constantly judged me for my wrong actions. Not to mention me and her sister, his sister-in-law, fell out because I exposed her and my conversations. So what I'm getting from this is that Marlo and his sister-in-law fell out because he exposed his fiance to the sister.
Gotcha. And she was angry about
And
that?
I guess she was angry that Marlo would call out the sister to his sister-in-law. Like maybe it's you thought I was going to have your back over my sister's back?
Is it that, or was she mad at the sister for cheating?
No,
was she mad at her own
sister. Me and my sister-in-law fell out because I exposed our conversations. It's really
Marlo, my guy. This is a very confusing story.
It's
There's a lot of very interesting parts to it, but yeah, that's a little confusing at the end there. But I think we kind of get the gist. I think we kind of get the gist. Like, what's the question he's asking though?
Okay, so he said all of this drama happened within the same month. So him and his sister-in-law falling out.
Yeah, the cheating.
No, the cheating happened early in their relationship. But her telling him that it was his brother.
Oh, I totally forgot about that part of the story. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah. It's not funny. We're not laughing because it's funny.
We're not laughing,
right?
but
sorry.
It's a lot.
Should we be? I'm not laughing because it's funny.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, it's just your reaction was funny. So my sister-in-law, we fell out. Mm-hmm. And then it says all of this within the same month. I'm struggling to grasp the situation, which I'm trying to heal from. That is so deep.
Yeah, that's that is a lot. I understand. So okay,
it says ask us a question, but there's no question presented.
I think it's kind of just what is our take on it, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Got it. You want to go first?
Okay, so there's a lot of pieces about this that I really kind of want to break down. So when Marlo says that his fiance cheated on him, his now fiance at the time, I guess she was his girlfriend. He said, one time I could understand, but she did it twice. And once was with my brother. And she says, and I quote, "I only told you because you didn't ask." And Marlo feels like that is worse.
So he asked if she cheated, and she said, "Yes, I cheated with your brother."
She said, "I only told you because you did not ask." So he never asked if she had cheated. In my mind, this is what I'm getting from it. Huh. He never asked her, "Hey, did you ever cheat on me? And did you cheat on me with my brother?" So I think that because he didn't ask her, she was hiding it and it was eating away at her. And so she had to tell him.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I think is interesting is he would understand if she cheated in the first year of being together. It seemed like it wasn't that big of a deal, which a lot of couples actually have that take.
If like when they're just dating.
Yeah.
And so
even because we're dating. If you cheated on me, it'd be over.
Yeah, but so he cheated on her in the first year of the relationship, right?
No, he didn't say when he cheated on her.
But it was early in their relationship. I think it depends on how early on.
They've been together. They've been engaged for the past 3 years, but it doesn't say how long they've been together.
Yeah.
But she cheated in their first year of being together. And he said, one time I could understand, which is a lot of couples actually say that. If you cheated on me in the first year of us being together, then we weren't that serious.
There wasn't that boundary set, or if there wasn't that title
I think that in the
yet
first
to their
year
name.
of a relationship, a lot of people don't really take it that seriously.
Yeah.
And so if you cheated on me in the first year of our relationship,
and you found out about it now, 7 years in,
I would be so upset that you could keep something like that from me.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why she told him.
Got you.
Is because it's probably eating at her.
That makes sense, because if somebody can lie for that long, that's pretty crazy.
That is a deep lie to have.
That's a deep lie.
There's some people who can take a lie to their
grave.
And then
what I would feel is, if you cheated on me, so early on to our relationship? Like, what makes me think that you haven't cheated again?
I actually feel the opposite. I feel like if you cheated on me early on in our relationship and I knew you hadn't cheated then, I'd be like, it would feel like a fluke. Because a lot of the time,
but how do you know? You said if you,
well, you don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you know that they haven't? Like, because if they were that way in the beginning of your relationship, what makes you think that they could just magically change? I guess it depends too.
It's a one-off. It's a one-off.
But it also depends, I feel, within that first year. Like, was it a year in, or was it the first like couple months?
That's a good question.
You know, because if it's the first couple months and you're still like in that like building
month
stage,
5, month 6,
you're building the relationship. You're not technically in the relationship at that point. And one person may think that it's exclusive. One person may not.
The gray area time.
Yeah, the gray area time. If that's where I'm talking about. But if you guys are in a year into your relationship, you both fully understand you're in a relationship, you're exclusive, then you shouldn't cheat.
That's true.
And that's not okay. And like,
that's
if
true.
you found out 5 years later that first year they cheated, I would be very upset about that.
But would you leave?
I think I probably would.
Would you really leave?
I think I probably would.
Wow.
Because I would just, it would put me in my head and I'd be like, how do I know that you haven't cheated ongoing throughout this relationship? If I didn't know about that, or I wasn't able to figure that out, what else have I not figured out within this relationship? I think it would eat away at me. You know, I would get messed up from that.
You think I would get messed up from that?
Yes.
I don't like the way you said it so quickly. I don't like that.
She doesn't let me live things down that happened when we weren't even dating. So she would not let me live that down.
You talking about your little girlfriend?
Oh my God. So you see what I'm talking about? We weren't even dating at that point. But
I'm pretty sure I let you touch my booty one time.
Maybe. But
so at that point.
But okay, so Marlo, we're back to Marlo.
Yeah.
This is an interesting predicament. I think that the fact that you both cheated.
Wait, pause.
Yeah.
Her cheating with your brother is absolutely unacceptable.
That is insane.
Really crazy.
That's really very crazy. Unacceptable. And
one time with a stranger in the first year of your relationship. You know, once I could understand, but she did it twice, and once was with my brother. And I really wish I knew that was the brother also within that. Was the brother also within that first year?
Yeah.
And then
does he forgive his brother?
Yeah. Marlo, that's such a good question. Or do you still have a relationship with your brother?
Yeah, exactly.
Because in my mind, it doesn't necessarily feel fair to be selective with who you're upset with. Because if I was with you and you slept with my sister, I'm gonna be more mad at my sister than I'm mad at you. That's my blood. She gonna do me dirty like that?
Obviously, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like that's more permanent. You know, like permanent. It's a sibling. It's literally a sibling of yours. So how do you can't disconnect that?
But if the sleeping with the brother happened within the first 5 months, right? They're not serious. They're just messing around, whatever. The brother's like, hey, good looking girl, sexy. You want to hook up? Is that a gray area too?
Like in the
I just don't know if I could get engaged to somebody if I slept with their brother.
I think it's kind of messed up to, even if you're dating a guy and you technically aren't exclusive, if you go and hook up with their brother.
That's true.
Like, just go on Tinder and find somebody else. You know what I mean? That's like too close to home. That's too close to this person that technically you're not in an exclusive relationship, but
there should be some
why
sort
are you
of boundaries.
tangling that web, you know?
Yeah.
It's not.
I think also when he says, I found out and all of this happened within the last month, to be engaged to, because it says I've been engaged with for the past 3 years. So I'm assuming they've been engaged and they were probably dating a little bit before that. And he said all of this he found out within the last month. To find out that your fiance slept with your brother after being engaged for 3 years is really horrible. I feel like that's something that you should tell somebody before they put a ring on your finger. Like if I slept with your brother, you don't have a brother.
I don't.
But if you did, I still wouldn't sleep with him. I don't know. I feel like if you were going to get engaged to a guy and you've been engaged for 3 years and you knew that you had slept with his brother, and then also the brother didn't tell you, the betrayal.
Man,
all
there's just
around.
like, but I
There's
know
so
I didn't
many
even think
layers
about
to
that. There's
this.
so many layers to it. There's so many layers.
I wouldn't be able to talk to my brother, and I would ask. I'd be grilling my
I want to
parents.
know the relationship between him and her sister, because I don't fully understand in that message he sent us of what's the part of the sister-in-law, because was she upset with her sister or was she upset with him? I think she was upset with her sister for cheating.
Okay, I'm rereading it.
Yeah.
Slowly this time. It says, not to mention me and her sister, as in my sister-in-law, fell out because it says me alone.
Yeah.
And I exposed her and conversations about her. So what I think I'm getting here is that his sister-in-law and him fell out because he shared conversations that he and his sister-in-law had about his fiance. So I guess the sister-in-law and Marlo were maybe talking about the fiance on the side.
Gotcha.
And then
Which is
Marlo told the fiance and was like, me and your
slope.
sister been talking X, Y, and Z about whatever they were talking about. And I guess maybe from what I'm understanding, the sister-in-law no longer feels like she can trust him. And that has caused them to fall out.
Man, just getting the siblings involved like this just sounds so
I've called
dirty.
your sister before when I'm upset.
Yeah, but that's like different. Like you're getting advice from my sister.
Maybe he was
in
getting
certain
advice.
ways. That's true, but
the situation is different.
It sounds a lot more. Oh man, it's a sticky situation.
Marlo, I feel for you. I cheated in our relationship as well, but I don't think it's affecting her like it's affecting me, because back then we didn't have a family, meaning our son. So now they have a son.
Okay. Yeah. So that's just a whole other level added to it, a whole other thing that just gets added to this situation.
And his in-laws constantly judged him for his wrong actions. I would love to know how they found out, and also in-laws
probably found out because she told.
I know, but how did she find out? Okay, so the whole thing that I want to know is, did she cheat in retaliation to you cheating? A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And if you cheat in retaliation to somebody else cheating, what is your perspective on that?
And she one up him with the brother.
Yeah.
Man.
I just would never talk to my brother again.
That's just going to pile on more and more issues. You know, retaliating in that way is never the right way to go. You know, I mean, break up with them and then go.
Marlo, if you're listening to this,
do.
We take this very seriously. This is very intense, and we do want to thank you for sharing.
Definitely.
I would like to know a little bit more background information, especially as it pertains to, did she cheat in response? Are you still going to marry her?
Yeah. What's the update? Give us the update of the story. Hell of a submission, though, Marlo. Hell of a submission.
This is the first one that we got.
The first one we got.
Yeah. Out the gate.
That's the wow. That was very interesting. I guess like my advice, because he said he had a question for us. I guess there was a question in there somewhere, but my advice to that situation would probably be, I don't think I could stay in that relationship. I think that for the better of my son, for the better of each person that's a part of it, I think that for the better of you and your siblings' relationship, I think that you guys need to part ways, because I mean, you want to prioritize your relationship with your brother, and
he was half the dirty deed.
No, I know. Like he's definitely to blame for that, but I just feel if you stay with her, there's going to be this huge friction within the family, you know? And I think that you guys should all just part ways and have, split custody of your son and kind of go out and do your own things. I'm sure that you both have learned a lot from this relationship, and I think you need to take that and apply that elsewhere. I don't think that it's going to be very hard to save this relationship. A lot of therapy to save that relationship.
We're not therapists, but we definitely would
I would suggest maybe talking
if you felt like you wanted to save the relationship.
Yeah.
But, Marlo's saying, I'm struggling to grasp the situation, which I'm trying to heal from. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion would be that based on my own biases and who I am and putting myself in that exact situation, I could not actively heal from something so violating with that person who violated me present.
Yeah.
I could not do it. Mm-hmm. So if you do want to try your best to continue your relationship with this woman, then I would say take a step back, because are you truly going to be able to heal if you're in the same space all the time?
Yeah.
That seems really exhausting, because how can you work through everything that you're going through if in the morning it's, I love you and I'm sorry, and who knows how she's acting? She could be, smothering you in a great way, but it might come across as manipulative, or she could be incredibly dismissive. So there's a bunch of different ways that this could go, but either way, that would influence how you are healing in your process. So I would say to take time. There's definitely
things that you guys need to heal from within that. You guys, this is not, this is the problems are too big to just sweep under the rug and not fully communicate and understand if you guys still want to stay together after all this.
Yeah.
This is huge. This is a huge thing that you guys are going to have to do together. Maybe even include the brother within this process as well.
On a one-on-one, or all three of them? Oh, I hear that.
What do you think I was talking about?
What do you mean, like a one-on-one?
No, I mean just like in a therapy session or something.
All three of them?
All three of you need to get together and if you want it to work, to really work, to where it's not, you guys aren't just putting this, this cozy blanket over this mess. I think that you really need to get every person who is a part of this together and to fully communicate it. Mm-hmm. And that's my advice.
I like that advice. Mm-hmm. I think that makes sense too, is having everybody in the room.
Yeah.
So that
the sister-in-law, everybody.
I didn't think about that.
Everybody needs to talk it out and get on the same page with it.
But maybe keep it away from your kid as long as you can.
Yeah, the kid doesn't.
Hopefully he's not too involved.
Yeah, it sounds like your kid is probably very young too. So I mean,
it does sound.
Kid has no idea what's going on. So if you guys do stay together, decide to stay together, I think that the kid should definitely not be in the loop.
Yeah, don't keep him in the loop.
Don't keep him in the loop.
But when he gets older and he starts asking real questions, then maybe
if you feel like you need to do that, that's your choice. Yeah. But if you guys do end up splitting up, I think that you guys should find out some type of way to communicate that to your son as well.
Yeah, why you split up. My parents are divorced. Not deep. Like you can give a reason without giving the reason.
That's true.
But I don't know if I didn't know the true reason why my parents divorced.
Yeah.
Like the multitude of layers of why they divorced. I mean, I probably wouldn't have any different perspective, but I feel like you're really intuitive.
Saved some resentment though that you have towards one or the other. Marriage.
I don't really resent towards my parents.
Yeah, but maybe at the time you did.
When they were divorced?
Well, if one parent is telling you this parent did that, this parent did that, right, you guys, it's like a literal tug of war. You said what you were having.
Yeah, that was the worst.
So,
I would definitely, as best as you can, if you guys do decide to split up, isolate your kid from that, because that is the most polarizing is the word of the day with this podcast.
Just keep your kid out of the spiteful behavior that you will be showing towards one another.
With that with my parents.
Yeah.
And we
do
saw
not involve your child in
every negative thing my parents had to say about each other. I heard.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely say, hopefully, to spare him of that. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for sharing and for being
hell
vulnerable.
Of a first submission. Wow.
Yeah.
Hell of a first submission. Yeah, that was intense.
Seriously. If we were doing any laughing, it's not because it's funny.
No.
It's because that we just didn't expect.
Yeah, there's lots of things, lots of layers to that story that I did not expect. And yeah, I mean, I hope that you're able to work it out and figure it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope you guys do what's best for your son. And yeah, you guys just do what's best for yourselves as well. So, and everybody involved.
And if you're thinking about staying together, this is my honest opinion, maybe don't do it for the sake of your kid. I don't know any happy couples who are married for the sake of children and are, acting as if they're okay, because I've met a lot of kids whose parents got divorced in older age, and yeah, they're messed up, but they would say stuff like, my parents were horrible to each other and they only stayed together for us, and we wish that they had split up.
Sometimes going separate ways is the best thing for everybody. Yeah.
So not definitive, not telling you what to do, but maybe that could be in consideration.
Yeah, just our opinion.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Marlo.
Great. Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Marlo. Appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing with us. And so that's our submission forms. You can go on to our Instagram and click our link tree, and there's a submission form there for you. And obviously you can remain anonymous, or if you don't mind, we'll say your first name.
Or your pseudonym, whatever you feel comfortable
whatever you
sharing.
choose. And yeah, just go ahead and you can share a story with us, ask for advice, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm.
All right. And
cool.
I think that's about that wraps it up for this episode of Hanging Out Forever. Thank y'all so much for joining us. And thank you, Marlo, for your submission. Like Grant said, we're looking forward to having additional submissions from our followers and our listeners. And we take your stories very seriously, and we will not accidentally dox you or share your personal information. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Go ahead and thank you for hanging out. Go ahead and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We want to get our numbers up on YouTube, so please help us out with that. Yeah, perfect.
All right, be safe, y'all.